So on this beautiful sunny day, we're standing here in front of Fruitova, which is a school built in 1929 here in the west end of the valley that Grand Forks is in, but now it is the home of the Boundary Museum. Let's take a step inside, see what they have on display. The bear here was carved by Mr. Walter Reese. You should know that he was legally blind when he carved this bear. So, there's visitors over there. Let's move on down the place where there is no visitors right at the moment. So, there used to be a store here, a general store called Hunter Kendrick, and this is our display of the store. These guys here, they're the mares we used to have in this town. And over behind, we have a display of liquor bottles and brown jugs and beer bottles and various things, lamps up there, and a heater. And here is our store, our general store. One of the things that you would notice, especially if you grew up since the 50s or 60s, is there is no plastic. None of these packagings use plastic. And really, there's not much in the way of disposable things as well, except for maybe the craft paper that they wrap up your meat with. But we also have in this room here, these are the mailboxes from when the mailboxes were downtown where City Hall is right now, and there wasn't that many people here. And a lot of the older cash registers you see in places, they have these plain steel sides and bodies. This one here does not. Now, why you don't see these is because when the war was on, they would come to all these places, and the National Cash Register Company, for instance, they made this cash register, and as part of the war effort, they wanted the brass. They wanted the brass for shell casings primarily, and they would come and say, "Oh, yes, we'll replace your brass body for your cash register with steel sides, and if you'll donate it, we can melt it down, and you can help the war effort." And that's a good thing, isn't it? Well, it is a good thing at the time, but as a result, you don't see these very much anymore. I could go on and on about what's in here. I used to have a good half-hour spiel about what's going on in here, but maybe if you visit here and I'm here, you'll get that. Russian party songs, Russian folk songs. Peter Gritchen sings. Well, Peter Gritchen was a local gentleman here. He actually ran a museum of his own up on the hill, and it's now the Hardy Mountain Doukhobor Village Museum, or some name like that. And we're trying to keep all that alive. This room here is dedicated to the Doukhobors, and in fact, it is the Doukhobor Heritage Society that actually owns this facility, and it was their good graces that have allowed us at the museum to use it. And it's a symbiotic relationship because, like a lot of societies, older members, they aren't getting too many people from the younger crowd joining, so this was a help to them and a help to the society because the Museum Society needed a place to live. I'm rambling. Just look at all this. The Doukhobors built most of the things that they had out of the things that they had, like this loom. The clothing, made all their own clothing. You're not buying that in a store somewhere. Of course, they didn't make their own sewing machine, but they made most of everything else. And I could go on about the history, but this is supposed to be a short little visit. And this is an example, a model of a typical two-house village that the Doukhobors had. Communal living. They had little villages dotted throughout the landscape from here all the way up to Nelson. Okay, so here now. a tablet from a bygone era. A stylus to use said tablet. No batteries needed. No Wi-Fi though. This was a school dating from 1929. And at one time, there were natives in this area. Hunting, fishing, it's a way of life for them. This example here, the first school in the boundary area, a one-room schoolhouse located on the west side of North Fork and the north side of Highway number 3. Probably a bit higher than they should be, but there you go, a one-room schoolhouse. Now you're sitting at a desk, just the way a student would, in the one-room schoolhouse. So we're back at the entrance here. Now, that's Mr. Reese's carvings, all of those. Remember, he was blind. Now this is the last room I want to show you. The first room you actually see when you come in. And here we have industry, history, natives. Of course, the natives were here first. We don't have it on display right now, but spearheads, yes. We have a clothes tip. That is probably right there the oldest piece of man-made anything in this whole building. Thousands of years. The logging industry, sports, hockey teams, baseball teams, sledding, early telephone, a gambling hall. Well, there was definitely hotels around here. Wherever there's money flowing, you'll find hotels with gambling. And we used to have a smelter here in town, and it's no longer there, but the slag piles, that's these big piles of black sand, they're still here. And this is a model of what the smelter used to look like. Various pictures. There used to be a town near here called Phoenix. It was actually quite a big town. Phoenix is no longer there. There's a big hole in the ground because most of the mines were right underneath. And when they reopened the mine, Phoenix, it came back. When they reopened the mine in the 50s, they made the open pit mine, so the town had to go. There was nobody living there anyways. It had become a ghost town in the 20s. I hope you've enjoyed your little visit, and really, if you want to know more, if you want to see more, you have to come down and see it for yourself and talk to the people who are here, who can help you make sense of it all and put it in context. And hey, we have stories too. I really enjoyed working at the museum. Hope you'll enjoy visiting it.